There are enough beds at the moment for the number of people who are rough sleeping, but there are reasons why people are sleeping rough, and I understand that in many cases they're personal reasons. In some cases there are issues around them not wanting to be in a hostel. But we will ensure that we retain enough short-term hostel accommodation for the needs of rough sleepers. But what we want to do is to ensure that people who are in those beds now, who would be more appropriately in long-term accommodation, that they move out of those beds into secure long-term accommodation. There will always be people who maybe are challenged, who maybe suddenly have to leave home, who may end up rough sleeping, but there is a system there. There are outreach workers, there's a centralised phone number. There is a system there where people can go immediately if they're in a position of rough sleeping. But the reality probably is that there will always be a few who will be out on a very short-term basis, but certainly our aim is to ensure that that does not have to happen anymore. We intend to eliminate it insofar as we can, but we're talking about individuals, and if an individual decides that they're going to sleep rough in Dublin on a particular night, and despite the fact that there are alternatives, you know, there is human liberty as well, but we intend to ensure that it does not have to be a reality for anybody. This year, for example, we intend to spend approximately the same as what was spent last year in terms of government money and also in terms of local authority money. The money is maybe being used in different ways insofar as we are trying to move away from just a very strong focus on hostel accommodation to the more supported living side of things. But certainly we are ensuring that we maintain the funding as it was last year. And it is very challenging times, and we've had to cut budgets right across our sector and across other sectors, but we are protecting that budget insofar as we possibly can. Well, I'm not going to talk about an individual organisation because it depends on what they apply for. Some years they may have a building project, other years they may not have. So I think inevitably you won't have exactly the same figure every year for any particular organisation. But the funding for the sector generally is going to be protected, and we want to ensure that it is well spent. And it has to be value for money. We have to ensure that it is spent in a way that makes a difference to people's lives.